Look, we better pay attention to this. Trump versus China, facing America's greatest threat. Former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. Okay, you offered all of these considerations in the impeachment of Bill Clinton, 11 specific felonies at Ken Starr. They didn't offer it, but that's process. I read the transcript. I see a president demanding answers to election interference by Ukraine and helping Hillary. And I see a president saying, why on earth would a vice president demand the firing of a prosecutor paying his kid, well, he's not a kid, he's nearly 50, millions of dollars for no experience, none whatsoever. No, I don't know why they paid me. Really?
Look, the situation is absurd. Hunter Biden, and this is what the Democrats have not thought through. Hunter Biden, sooner or later, is going to be put under oath. And sooner or later, they're going to say to him, how much did you make in Ukraine? How much did you make in China? What did you do for it? All these things relate back to where we are right now. But I think we're at a unique moment. I was so glad that you had Lindsey Graham on, because I think his leadership set the stage for today's announcement by Speaker Pelosi. And here's the key to this. Does Pelosi now take seriously the Senate resolution, in which case she's going to sit down with Kevin McCarthy, and they're going to work out what we did in '98 and what the Democrats under Rodino did in '73, and that is a genuinely bipartisan resolution. If they come up with a piece of junk on Thursday, and it's just the same bloody whitewash that we have seen already with Schiff, then it is a joke. It'll be of no value, and every Democrat who votes for it, I think, will face a real risk back home.
Any Republicans you see, we have the transcript. Now, they can't bring the whistleblower in now, can they? Because Schiff is compromised. Schiff is corrupt. He's lied for 3 years. You see any Republicans in the House or Senate going along with this based on the transcript?
No. Now, look, first of all, I think her vote, if her motion on Thursday is purely partisan, she'll lose some Democrats and gain 0 Republicans. But second, I don't like the term whistleblower. It's a lie. He's not a whistleblower. He is a leaker. There was nothing that he was blowing a whistle about. His letter was factually false, based on hearsay. He apparently worked with Joe Biden. He's a liberal Democrat who doesn't like Trump. I mean, I don't think we should dignify this guy. And it tells you how it's falling apart, that the guy that was the key to the whole thing, they're now saying they may not even bring him in. So you have to think, what is Schiff doing? What is Pelosi doing? This is madness. And I think the country knows they're not dealing with health care. They're not dealing with education. They're not dealing with infrastructure. They're not doing any of the things they ought to be doing because they're so totally wrapped up in hating Trump. And that's the core of the Democratic Party today.
Let's assume for a minute. Now, remember, Bill Clinton, he had 11 felonies that were identified by then independent counsel Ken Starr. Different statute. It's been changed to special counsel. 3 years, nothing for the American people. 3 years, impeachment, collusion, Russia. Now we have real collusion with Ukraine, except it was to help Hillary, and where the president's demanding answers to what is obvious pay to play. They did not pay a kid with no experience for no reason at all. They were buying favor. Anybody that thinks otherwise is just like the mob, intellectually dishonest. My question is, let's assume for a minute they impeach the president. The Senate won't convict him because there's nothing to convict him on. There's nothing to impeach him on. But let's say they do a political impeachment. Then they won't convict him. Will this help the president in 2020? Because my guess is the people, the American people, will see this never-ending witch hunt against this president. And I think they'll be lining up for weeks in advance in the freezing cold snow and rain to cast their vote for Donald Trump to send a message to this disgusting swamp.
Look, I think this is a sore loser impeachment. It has nothing to do with facts. It has nothing to do with actions. There were about 70% of the people who favor impeachment favored it the day after the election. And Schiff and Pelosi represent the first time in American history we've had sore losers who decided they would try to unlock the election by simply making stuff up. I mean, if you go back, if you listed everything Schiff has said for 3 years that was false, that we now know was false. It is a stunning comment on how bad this whole system is. And I think that Kevin McCarthy is very likely to be the next Speaker of the House, because I think that Pelosi, in trying to pay off the left, is going to beat 30 or 40 Democrats. I mean, you look at Peterson in northern Minnesota, 30-point Trump district. If he votes yes this Thursday, he might as well go home and quit campaigning, because he's not going to get reelected.
Let me ask you this. We're about to get the IG report. We already know that it was an unverifiable, dirty, Clinton bought and paid for Russian dossier. Media doesn't, the mob and the media, you have to suspend any connection to objective truth, reality, be intellectually dishonest, suspend all reason and common sense to be where they are in the hypocrisy level. But let's say premeditated fraud on a FISA court, denying an American his constitutional rights and spying on an opposition party campaign candidate, transition, and president. Then we got the possible outsourcing of intelligence gathering to our allies to circumvent U.S. laws against spying on Americans, Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable search and seizure. Knowing that that's all coming, what will be the impact of what they did?
Oh, I think it will be devastating, and I think it may well reach all the way up to President Obama. I think it's impossible for me to believe that all of this was done and the president did not know it.
We have evidence. There's no counterintelligence investigation that can take place without the approval of the president. That would be Obama. Number two, remember the struck page text? It said, White House wants to know every new development. White House would be Obama's White House, correct?
That's right.
Does Trump win in 2020?
Does
all this hate Trump help him in 2020? Last question.
Yes, I think Trump will win, probably in a landslide, to the great shock of the left.
Well, he shocked the world once, beat the Bush dynasty, beat the Clinton dynasty. All right, when we come back, thank you, Mr. Speaker. His book is out, Amazon.com, Hannity.com, bookstores everywhere. By the way, we're going to show you some of my debate with James Carville this weekend. Also proof the 2020 election, well, it's probably the most important in our lifetime. That's how important it is. David Limbaugh, Mike Huckabee next.